It's a follow-up to one of our foundational books, 7 Ways to Lead. Proactive Coaching's come out with this one, Equipping and Empowering Team Leaders. And it's a book that just allows you to work with your team leaders to get better, to make sure they become everything we want them as a leader and everything they can become as a leader. Bruce wrote this book with a lot of great concepts to really help us move forward. And think about some of the 3 areas we really want our leaders to improve in. One is they want to be confident leaders. Second, they want to build the trust to their teammates. And third, they need to know they value their teammates and the teammates value them. You know, a lot of times when I'm sitting with leaders, I remind them this one thing. Being a senior, being talented, being popular, and having a title do not make you a leader. On the other hand, not being a senior, you don't have to be a senior, you don't have to be talented, you don't have to be popular, you don't have to have a title to lead. Everybody can lead, but it takes us as coaches to work with them to develop that leadership on our team. Whether they're in a leadership position or not, they can all lead. We're working with them. You know, one of the things we think we start with is this. Let's look at areas that are concerns to leadership to make sure people aren't thinking that this is leadership. 4 areas. Here's the first one. How many people think, I'm in a position so I can tell you what to do versus getting leadership because they love people? And people respect them and they turn to love them, thus they'll follow them. How about this as number 2, okay? The second one is compliance versus commitment. Some people in leadership force compliance. You need to do this versus getting commitment. Let's do this together. Huge difference. Next one, how many people truly listen as leaders? They're listening to other voices. They're listening to people who disagree with them. Concern is my way. It's all my way. Leader makes the final decisions, but guess what? They need to be listening to a whole bunch of different opinions on how it's coming forward. Last one is this, knowledge versus faking it. Have we put the time in to be a good leader, or we just kind of fake it as we go by? We need to make sure we get unbelievable leaders as we walk through. How can we help our leaders rise to the occasion? Here's just some quick thoughts behind it. Number 1 is this. Make sure our leaders understand they need to control their emotions. They can't lose their emotions in leadership crisis decisions or just in general day-to-day decisions. They have to control the emotions. Let's work with our leaders to make sure they're getting that done. Second, can they follow as well as they can lead? There's going to be times on teams where people who are not in leadership positions are going to have great concepts. Can our leaders say, let's do that? Next, leaders are doers, not complainers. They get the job done. They don't sit back and complain about the situation they're in. They go out and they find ways to get it done. They're problem solvers. Leaders can use their sense of humor. Have you worked with your leaders to let them understand? Sometimes break the tension through your sense of humor. Maybe this is one of the biggest ones. Work with your leaders to become clear communicators. To not beat around the bush and make general statements like, hey guys, we have an attitude problem, but to get down and say, Miller, we need to talk about this issue. Clear communicators. Make it as clear as possible. And the last one in this area is this. Make sure they understand when you're a leader, you're open up for criticism. Work with them to understand the moment you go into a leadership position, people will criticize you, and they need to be okay with that as you walk through. As we close out this one, I think one of the biggest issues we can work with them on is critical conversations. Our leaders need to be able to have those critical conversations with other people on the team, with us as coaches. Can your leaders walk in and talk to you in a critical conversation? Are they willing to go to the team and talk to them? We have to train them that that is okay. Work with them, educate them that this is something that has to happen if you're in a leadership position. Walking through 3 things. 1, they have to have courage, because sometimes those critical conversations are going to have to be with one of their best friends. They have to have the courage to step forward and make that. Second, their style. It can't be a demeaning style. It has to be an encouraging, demanding, urgent style, but it has to be a style that's able to come through, that it's caring. The best leaders can turn confrontation into a conversation that shows caring for them. And the last thing that comes with this, we've already mentioned it, they have to be a problem solver. When you're working with somebody, leaders can't just go, here's the problem. Leaders have to go, here's the problem, and here's how we're going to solve it. Spend time with your team leaders. Equip them and encourage them to be the best they can be. Don't just appoint them and walk away. Work with them every day. Because when you get leadership, that's when everything changes and the ceiling for what your team can do rises.